How's it going, guys? So, welcome to my podcast or welcome to my vlog. I don't know what to call this thing, but today we're going to be talking about our lovely mothers. Let's get into it, shall we? Well, I'm bored as shit, got nothing to do during this quarantine time. So, I might as well make a video or post something on YouTube. So, it's my podcast. Cool. All right. So what's going on, you guys? I hope you're having a good day. This week has been very crazy. It's been very hectic and stressful, and I'm bored as crap. So I'm doing another little vlog podcast thing for you guys. If you have a name, if you have like a better name for this, comment below. I don't know what to call it. I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. But I have a cup of coffee. It's very hot. I think you can even see the steam arising. And yeah, let me light an incense thing. Let me set the mood. I don't know. But today we're going to be talking about our lovely mothers. And sit back, relax, draw, doodle. Ooh, that's a fat one. And drink a cup of coffee, relax. That's what this is all about. Ooh, it smells good. It smells like a grandma's house. That's what this smells like. I'm okay with that. I'm shaky because I had a lot of coffee already. I got this new coffee. It's instant coffee. Don't judge me. I just like it. It's easy. Have you seen that new thing that's going around? It's called the whipped coffee. I tried that. I actually tried that because I'm a coffee fiend. Don't do it. It's like the biggest. Dude, it takes like 10 minutes to make. Maybe it's the way I made it, but it's just too much. Too much. Okay. Grab my ghetto incense holder. This is something I found on a hike. I just took it. Got it. There you go. That's good. That's not going to go anywhere, right? What a day. But anyway. Yeah, so I was just talking about coffee. Instant coffee, the whipped coffee, don't do it. Search it up if you don't know what I'm talking about. It's really weird. It's like you have to whip it. You just take instant coffee and you take, I think like water and you just sit there and whip it. I was sitting there for like 10 minutes, dude. I'm like, this is the biggest mistake of my life. It was good at the end. It kind of tasted like coffee milk at the end. If you ever had coffee milk, it tastes like that. That's pretty much what it is. I'll prefer my cup of coffee, letting it cool. But yeah, so today I want to talk to you guys about our lovely mothers. I think I said that like 3 times right now. Might be. It's been a long intro. It's been a long day. But growing up, I was a prankster. I don't know about you guys, but I was a daredevil. I love setting pranks. I don't do it anymore just because I think I retired. I see all the people that do the pranks and I'm like, haha, that's funny, but I try to do it and I just feel weird doing it now because I'm like an adult. It's weird when you're an adult doing pranks to people. It's kind of like but I still try to do like some small stuff every now and then, some good pranks. I still love them though. That's the guilty thing about me. Comment below if you guys like to do pranks and stuff like that. Not like prank calls. That's amateur shit. When I was growing up, I used to do like, I'm not talking like mayonnaise on the doorknob or like plastic wrap over the toilet seat. Nah, I used to do like, that was like amateur stuff for me I used to do that stuff when I was like 6. By the time I was like 8, I discovered that you could modify lighters like so, like this. I didn't do it to this one. I should though. Anyway, yeah, my mom was a smoker, so I knew what lighters were. I knew what cigarettes were. I wasn't interested in them, but I knew about them. Like the story I'm gonna tell you. I was well aware by the age of like 8, and I didn't really like it when my parents smoked. My mom smoked. Sorry, word vomit. Hate when that happens. And I'm not editing that out. I'm leaving that. Anyway, but yeah. So I used to modify lighters all the time, like all the time. I used to do it, and I was a fucking prick about it too. I modified this one lighter, and this is the story I'm going to get into. This is the story about how I almost blew up my mom in a car going down a highway, which is Horrible. Horrible now that I say that. But I didn't mean to. I was young. I was little, and I was evil, and so I used to modify these lighters. You can take the cap off, and then you can do this and make it so the flame can go as high as you want it to. You can do as far as your heart's little content. Yeah, and I was all about X-Men too, and I like that fire dude, so I was all about that. The kid that used to bring the lighter around, he was a douchebag, but I liked it because I thought that was a badass fight, like a power, Even in Avatar, I liked the fire dude just because I was like, that's badass, He's a prick, but he's badass. Comment below if you watch Avatar. That shit was awesome. Anyway, so there was this one time where I modified this lighter, and I made it so it just shot right up. I mean, it just went... And I remember putting on the table, the kitchen table, and I didn't think anything of it, because I just used to do it. I didn't really think about it. I just did it, and yeah, so I just did it. And one time, my mom and I were driving down to Boston because I was doing like theater back then when I was a kid, so I think we were going down there for like classes, or I forget what it was, but we were driving down and. She's a boss. I love my mom. Moms are great. Moms are easily so overlooked. I feel underlooked. What's the word? Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, it's early, but they're like superheroes. You know what I mean? But yet we still ask them when is laundry done. Which is just messed up. But I love my mom, and growing up, she was like my best friend. She still is to this day. I love my mom. She's a sweetheart. She can be a real badass son of a bitch, and then she can just be the sweetest, like, I just bake cookies, want some? I'm not even kidding. So anyway, we're driving down the Mass Pike, and my mom's just flying, dude. Flying. She used to drive a Honda Tiburon, man. She used to fly in that thing. Fucking bright yellow, just, we're driving down. My mom looks at me and she goes, because her pocketbook would always be in like the passenger seat, like I'd always hold it or like put it on the floor or something like that. She goes, hey, can you hand mommy her cigarettes? And I go, sure, yeah, absolutely. So I go in her pocketbook, and I'm probably like, maybe I'm 10, 8, 10, around that time. So I grab her grab her cigarettes, and I hand them to her, and she goes, okay, can you grab mommy's lighter now? And I'm like, okay. So I go in her pocketbook, and long and behold, I find the lighter that I just modified a couple of nights, the one I was telling you guys about. And like when you're a little kid and you're almost like borderline caught about, you're about to get caught and get in trouble, and you don't want to like fess up, but you're caught almost in the act right there. And you just like freeze and, oh shit, oh no. Your eyes are like huge, dude. Like if she looked at me, it would have been a dead giveaway that something wasn't right. And I was just like shaking. I was like, oh no, this ain't going to be good. This ain't going to be good. And now like what I easily could have done was just told her, like, not this lighter, Mom. Not this lighter. I modified it. But no, when you're a little kid, you're like, I'm not going to say shit. I'm just going to let it happen because I don't want to get busted. That was the worst mistake I ever made. That was. Mind you, she's flying on the Mass Turnpike. I mean, flying. Oh, that's still hot. And I gave her the lighter, and I was like so hesitant about it. Like I was so hesitant. Like I didn't want to do it, but I'm like, it was probably like the longest 3 seconds of my life, which felt much longer, but it was literally just like, doo. And the window was open, it was open a crack, and she's driving, and she, quickly lights her cigarette, and then just that 1 second, it just blew. Just poof. Touched the roof of the car. I swear it almost singed her eyebrows. It probably did. Fucking flame goes out the window. And that to me felt like a minute, but it was really just like a flick. You know what I mean? She flicked it, just boom. And that one flick, and this boss woman she still lit her cigarette. And she's driving and didn't even flinch because she just went, boom. And it happened, and she puts the lighter down, and then she lights her cigarette. She goes, one puff, and on the out puff, she goes, did you mess with mommy's lighter? And I go, uh-huh. And she goes, you better run when we get home. And that was literally the end of that conversation, just like that. And the ride to Boston was quiet. We went to and from, and like just dead quiet. And that's the most awkward thing ever. Most awkward thing. Oh yeah. I stopped doing that stuff. You know what I used to do? Here's another little thing I used to do to my mom. Oh my god, this is horrible. My dad kind of like instigated it. He was the one that I think he was proud of it in a weird ass way. Dads, they take pride when their sons start to like do pranks on people. And there used to, I don't know if you guys remember these, but there were like magazines that you get like in the early 2000s, late 90s. You get like these like magazines in your mail, and they'd be like, what did it be called? Like, I forget what they're called, but they were like the anything book or whatever, and it had everything like collector stuff, masks, pranks, um, coins. Like it just had everything, literally everything you wanted. Fake swords, like it was cool. Like during like when I was growing up, whoa, when we got one of those things, who I would beg my dad like I'll mow the lawn. I just want this fake sword. Shit like that. But there was this one time he got these poppers, and they're not like the poppers that you throw on the ground that they pop. Nah, these were like little dynamite sticks, and they were little dynamite sticks. And what you do with them is you take a cigarette like so, and you put the said dynamite stick, insert it into the open part of the cigarette. So when the person went to go light the cigarette, boom, it blew the whole friggin' thing. I mean, that thing. Oh, I'm pretty sure they don't make them anymore because they could have taken someone's friggin' finger off. I was a little kid, so that didn't register to me. Yeah. Can you see where this story's already going? Let me take a sip of coffee before I tell you this one. Oh, yeah. I used to sabotage my mom's cigarettes. She always smoked, and she still to this day, Newport menthols. The most nastiest freaking cigarette ever. I'm a Marlboro kind of guy. Marlboro Reds. Mob Reds. I remember the first time I took it, I was like 17. I remember I was going through that phase, and I was like, what is a cigarette like? And I went through my mom's, I got my mom's cigarettes, I remember, and I started smoking. I took one puff, and I hurled menthols, Newports. I never did it again. Never. It wasn't until I was in college, really. When I was in college, dude, and I got like my first like, the final week. Yeah, I was stressing to hardcore, and I just remember chiefing cigarettes like a motherfucker. But anyway, enough about me. Don't judge me. Anyway, so my mom, she used to light her cigarettes all the time. I remember there's this one specific time it was in our kitchen, and I put the dynamite stick in her cigarette, and I put them in every single one. I remember that. So every cigarette she lit was, and she sat there, and she already knew by this time. This was late during the whole prank, so she knew by then, and she was so pissed off by it. And every time she'd light a cigarette, she was sitting in front of the island because we had like an island in our kitchen. And she's sitting there, and every little cigarette she lights, it just blows right up. I mean, boom. And she's like, what the fuck? Like, Jesus. Donnie, did you do that? And my dad's like, no, didn't do it. AJ, you can't be doing that stuff, man. Like, that's dangerous. Goes grab another cigarette, tries to light it. Boom. She's like, mother. And she just looks in all, she literally goes like this, and she grabs all of them. And she goes, you did them to every, and she was, oh, man, I was bad. And I still love my mom. She still loves me. Mothers, they're great. Yeah, that was probably that and the lighter. Actually, here's another one. Dude, I couldn't stop. My poor mother, dude. And by the time I was like 14 and 15, I knew what alcohol was. And my mom, she liked her Bacardi. She liked her rum and cokes. I knew what a mama's drink was. That was a thing. When I was a little kid, the cup with the straw, that's how you knew. She'd always say, this is mom's drink. Mama's drink. You don't take a sip out of mom's drink. I knew right from there, dude. When adult kind of does that to you when you're a kid, you're like, I know what that fucking is. I'm not stupid, Dude, even, So anyway, when I was a kid, when I was like 14, I notoriously used to do this all the time. And every time my mom would have like a cup of water anywhere, and if there was vodka around, like normally kids at 14 to 16 are like, ooh, vodka, I'm going to take a sip of that. I'm a party. No. I didn't care about drinking, dude, because I used to see my mom get drunk all the time, This is making my mom sound bad, but she's a normal person. She just like to party a few nights, a lot, and so there was this one time where we're at my cousin's wedding, and this was a long time ago. And she was a maiden of honor, I believe it's called. So she had this big speech right after the dinner. And someone at the dinner table, it was everyone was there. My whole family was there. So like my dad's there, my sister's there, I'm there, my mom's there, and we're with I think it was like my cousins and shit like that. And someone had ordered a vodka drink, but they messed up and they got a vodka on the rocks. And it was right next to me, and it was a cup of vodka, and you could easily mistake it as water. And I'm just like, oh yes, prank on, let's do it. So I take my mom's water that she was getting ready for her speech. I think she was standing up and just looking, because she's very proud of those kind of things. So she's taking it seriously. She's already up and waiting, looking at the bride like, I'm ready. She doesn't even know what's going on. She doesn't even know what is about to happen. So I take our cup of water and I take this cup of vodka. Meanwhile, I'm making sure that my cousins and other family don't see this, but I'm making sure that my sister and my dad do. So I'm waiting, and I'm waiting for the perfect moment, and I just go, and plant it. And then I just look at my sister, and my sister's just, did I just? And she's so shocked she doesn't even have time to tell my mom. And my dad's just sitting there like, oh no, this is going to be bad. But he didn't say anything either. So my mom, this is 100%, like, these are all true stories, by the way. I'm not making any of this shit up. And my mom, she stands up and I remember she looks at my dad and she goes, honey, where's my water? I need a sip of water. And she grabs the water, and we're all looking at her like bug-eyed. And she doesn't take a sip, guys. She doesn't take no sip. She takes a huge gulp of this water. I mean, like, whoa. I saw half of that glass go down. And there was just that moment of like, right when she put the glass down, she was like, and she's looking at us, hoping one of us is going to confess. And we're just like, I don't know what happened. You must have fucked up and took the wrong, sip out of the wrong cup. She runs to the bathroom. Because she can't no. Even I couldn't do that. Imagine just taking a whole cup of water, thinking it's water, and you take a huge gulp and it's actually vodka. Ugh. That gives me heebie-jeebies just thinking about that. So anyway, she runs to the bathroom, dude. I think she missed her speech. Well, no, she came back out, and like after she came back out, she was just like, all right, I'm ready for my speech. And that was terrible. That was pretty much like my peak prank I did to my mom. I kind of retired after that. I don't know why. I just felt like I just took it too far sometimes. I think that was the one that I was like, yeah, I'm done. I'm all set. I don't need to do this. But let's see, what are some other stories I can talk about? I don't know. I want to say thank you guys for liking the past videos and everything. Yeah, no, I see it, and I see that there's, some views on it, which is great. Anything above 20 views to me, because since I'm new to all this, that's good in my book. So I saw it was at 30, and I'm like, yes. 6 likes, I think it has, Comment more, though. Feel free to comment. If you're watching this, comment, dude. I like to hear your voices. That sounded so weird. I won't do that again. You know what happened to me the other day? Ooh, I got a story. Story time. Am I really going to tell you this? Yes, I am. So the other day, this is so sketchy. Oh my God. My heart's racing just thinking about this story. So this is going to be my last story. A little sidetrack story. This happened recently, last night. So the other day I had to go to this part of New Hampshire that was pretty rough. It's a pretty rough place. And I was going there to see family. And I didn't know the place, so they were trying to meet up with me at Cumbies. They were like, oh, meet at a gas station. So they're like, hey, meet us at, it wasn't Cumbies, it was another Shell. That's when you know shit's gonna be like, every time. I don't know, I'm an Irving dude. I like Irving. I don't know what you guys like for gas stations, but it's just like nice and easy. If you don't have Irvings around here where you're from, like where I live, they have Irvings and they're just nice. I don't know, I think it's because I grew up with them. I had one in my neighborhood, not my neighborhood. That'd be weird. I had one down the street from me. And I don't know, I'm used to them. I know where they, if I want a coffee, I know where the coffee is. They're all like the same. I go into like a Cumbies and I just feel out of place. When I go to a Shell though, I know shit's about to be weird. And that's the place we were meeting at. They're like, hey, meet us at the Shell. And I'm like, this is just not gonna go well. And I don't like to loiter. I just don't like to like chill in public places when I know I'm not supposed to. So I'm already on, and it was in the location too. So I was like, I didn't feel good about it. And Christina's with me. She's driving with me, and we park in the back of the gas station because I didn't want to hog up. Excuse me, I don't want to hog up the front because, God, no, I'm just trying to meet people. And I actually needed to put air in my tires. So I was doing two birds with one stone. I'm like, hey, while I'm waiting, I'm going to put some air in my tires. I don't know what it is about me, but I always attract the weirdest fucking people. I don't know what the fuck it is about me, but there's something that every time I do something, like meth heads or like crack heads are just like, hey, I like this guy. Literally every time. So I'm pumping my air in my tires, and this woman comes up to me, and she's in this brand new car, like dope. And she's I already knew from the start, the way she talked, the way she looked. She had missing teeth. I was like, She was like, hey, can you help me put air in my tires? I don't know how to do it. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, she was way older than me. She had to be in her like late 30s. I'm like, what the fuck? And she's like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to put air in my tires, and I tried to do it earlier, but it's kind of messed up. And I'm like, okay, why can't you do it? And she was like, well, it's a rental and I don't want to mess it up. And I'm like, I'm not the kind of person that like, I'm not really like, when I'm out and about doing my thing, like I really am not a social person. I don't, but like every now and then, I think I do it like every day. I try to be like, I'm going to do a good deed, Yeah, it's a good thing to do. So I'm like, fine, this will be my good deed. I've been locked up in the house, cooped up in the house. This will be my good deed. So I'm like, sure, let me help you. And she's telling me all this, and it's just not adding up. You get a rental, a brand new friggin' rental, and you're telling me that the airs, it didn't add up. Anyway, so I leave. Well, I park in the front now because I'm like, hey, here you go. I don't want to be here anymore. Her like friend comes out, and it's like a dude, and he doesn't even know how to pump air in the tires, and he's being all hella sketchy. Like, he won't even say hi to me. So I'm like, you're definitely the dealer, and she definitely sucks your dick for free crack. Just saying. So we get in my car, just me and Christina, we get in my car and we drive to the front of the gas station because I'm like, fuck that. I don't want to move out of to a different gas station. I just want to chill here because I need to meet up with my cousins and everything. So I'm waiting there, and because he was coming back from location. So we're just trying to meet up. And and then I see that couple, whatever, I don't even know what the fuck to call them. They get in their car and they leave, and I see them leave, and then I'm like, Christina's like, well, maybe we should just go to Cumbies or something like that, because she didn't. We both are like, we're super awkward people. We don't like to be in like, if we don't have a reason to be in a public place. We just don't like to be, you know what I mean? It's kind of feeling like you're loitering. You're just kind of like, I don't know. It's like an uncomfortable feeling. I don't like it, And like, I remember the days when I used to chill in like a McDonald's parking lot and like just do bad things, And that's why it just makes me feel uncomfortable. So I'm like, yeah, no, I don't really want to do that anymore. So yeah. So we end up leaving, and subconsciously we were like behind that crack couple, and I knew that kind of looked sketchy, and I'm like, ooh, I'm telling Christine, I'm like, this doesn't look good. This makes us look like we're following them. And so I'm trying to like slow down on the main road, and they're in front of us, and the girl pulls over her in her car, and then she lets me pass her, and then she whips in behind me, and she gets right up on my tail. And I just look at Christina, I go, this just took a turn. And so so I start to panic a little bit because that was just weird. Like, who the fuck does that, So I give Christina my phone. I go, you need to pull up directions to my sister's house because we just need to go there. I'm gonna tell my cousin because my sister lives right down the street. So I'm like, fuck that. I'm just gonna go to my sister's place. And it's like 10 o'clock, remind you, at night, because we're gonna chill and something like that. So we go out and yeah. So the woman's behind me, and Christina gets the GPS going, and there's a turn. So I literally go like Mission Impossible, no blinker, just fucking like, bing, and it's like, you ain't getting me today. And she tried to turn, but it was like that weird sharp turn, so she missed it. And I looked at Christina, and I was like, we were just about to get fucking robbed or something. I don't know why. Don't have a good feeling about that. She goes, no, she probably dropped her cigarette in her car. And I go, I don't think she dropped her cigarette in her car. I don't think she was doing that. I think she was doing something else. I've been followed before. It's not a good feeling because I've been in some sketchy places. Like I said, I don't think I've said this in the past video, but when you're a gigging musician, you take gigs, and sometimes you go out to, like, on the route, you have to drive through some like pretty rough areas. And there was this one time years and years ago. This is like 4 years ago. I was in college and I took this gig down in Lowell, Mass. And nothing bad about Lowell. I'm not dissing Lowell, but if you're from this area, we know about Lowell. And so I was like, all right. I was a college kid. I was like, I need the money, so I go down there. And I remember I stopped at this gas station. Same thing. I stopped at a gas station. What the fuck is it with gas stations? And I remember leaving, and I think I accidentally cut someone off, and it just wasn't the person you want to cut off. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. I was in a new location and I was scared, so I just like, wing. And I remember he honked at me, and then I just remember he was on my ass. And I remember my friends calling me because my friend's in the car in front of me, and he's like, I think you just pissed off the wrong dude. So they told me to kind of like go off track and just like take my GPS with me and just kind of take some roads. Dude, this guy was on my ass for every turn I took, and it was the most freakiest shit I've ever done. And yeah, it was so freaky. I just remember I took it. It was like same as like this last where I just took a turn really quick, and then he just went that way. But like, you always think like there's that thought that's like, oh, am I being followed? But then again, and when you're done with it, you're like, was I? Or like, was that just my mind being super scared? Like, it's anxiety. Like, I don't know. Comment below if, wait, maybe I'm just crazy. No, I don't think I am. Not yet. But anyway, so my plan to do with this podcast, now I'm just gonna wrap this up. Thank you guys so much for chilling and listening with this, and all. It's been a good time. I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to like it, comment, and everything. Share it if you like. Subscribe to the channel. I'm gonna be trying to do these at least once a week. Every Friday or something like that. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy them. Comment below what you'd like to hear about or anything. I don't know. But hopefully in the future, after all this quarantine stuff is over, I can have some people and I can set up like a little podcast area and interview some people who I have no idea. It might just be my friends, and we might just talk about some funny stories that we went through in the past. So who knows, I don't know where this is going, but I'm just bored as crap. So I'm just trying to do something. Take it easy, guys. I hope you enjoy your day. I hope you fulfill your dreams and do what you, I don't know. I hope you have a good one. Take it easy, guys. Have a great one.